Okay, now what's going on, boys? No Guides here. Welcome back to another video. And today's video I'm going to explain to you how you can climb up the weekend league and how you can climb up the division ranks in division rivals. Now, just to give you a bit of a perception, a bit of an example, this is one of my alternate accounts. Okay, I use this. I have basically won in every single division. This is mainly just to test out the gameplay. But let's say, for example, you got the game today. You'll probably start at Division 8. Now, in my opinion, Division 10. Now, what I would say the start point would be Division 8. And the reason why I say this is because 10 to 8, the players are very similar. In Division 10, they don't know what they're doing, with all due respect. And neither do they know what they're doing in Division 8. That's why they bounce between it. The issue is that you run into these checkpoints. Now, what these checkpoints, the reason why they're bad is because they allow you to never get relegated, the no relegation system. And that is why you have a lot of players. This is what people always think, what do you mean, but there's players in the elite that are not elite division players? It's because when the game came out, and this is how you can tell your skill level. When the game came out, those who are actually really good at the game got into the elite division in the first month or so. Everyone else was stuck in Division 5 and Division 6, let's say the elite division last year. And what the reason why this for is because all the top tier players, because everyone started Division 10, all the top tier players would fly through, win most of their games and play in the elite division. That's what would happen. And people that were in the elite division last year are kind of like at this point, well, what's going wrong? I was elite division last year, but now I'm not anymore. Then over time, a lot of these Division 4, Division 3 players, they eventually get to this division. Now, it's done by statistics because the more and more players that play the game, the elite players have already run through Division 10 to the elite division. They're there already now. Then you have now the rest of the community, the non-pros, the average players. And they all get bunched together. Then just by pure statistics, you're going to get a good run and you're going to win maybe 2 or 3 games. And that's enough for you to reach a checkpoint. Then what happens is, once you reach that checkpoint, you can't go down any lower. And that is why there's a lot of people that eventually, especially at this stage of the year, by the time eventually get into the elite division. And the biggest way I notice, a lot of people that come, they say, no, I want some coaching. We do coaching, and I have a look at their gameplay and I see they're making very basic mistakes that should have been rectified all the way where Division 6 players should have been doing it, but they've got there by pure, I'm not going to say luck, but I'll say pure statistics because of who they played, and there's no relegation, so you can't go down. Now, how can you get relegated? Now, every season you go back to, every season you go back 2 divisions, okay? Now, what there should be a barrier system. So let's say I'm in division, let's say today I'm in Division 8. Let's say I make my way to Division 5. By next season, you'll go back 2 divisions every season. So I'll be in Division 7 in theory. Now, what they should do is have a barrier system. So you can get relegated all the way back to Division 7, but you can climb up to whatever you want. So let's say the division, after that you go to Division 3. Then let's say you get relegated back 2 again, you go to 5. You should be able to get relegated back to 5. These checkpoints, in my opinion, should not exist midway through the season because they give everyone a false perception. Now, the second way you can kind of determine your skill level. So I would say Foot Champions now. Foot Champions is a bit of a tricky one because it's more of a marathon, not a sprint. And to be honest, I'm sure many of you, most of my viewers are 30, 40 odds, okay? I'm sure many of you guys are as well. At my age, I can only play 2-3 games at a very top level. Then I fall down by like 50%, like honestly. It's only because my experience with the game, my skill level, I'm still able to win at that point. But I'm sure most of you guys that maybe, if you're like a Division 5 player, an actual Division 5 player, you might be able to get 14 to 16 wins at your best in the weekend league. But because, of course, of the problems with, you playing all those games in a row, you end up only getting 10 wins, for example. So those are the things that's very, very important. As a general rule of thumb, if I had to mark this up, I would say if you're a Division 3 player in Division Rivals, now this is using the archaic system of Division 3, so not seasons, the old Division Rival systems, you should be technically getting at least rank 5. That's what I would say would be a good reason. I would say when you get from I would say elite division, you should be getting rank 4 to rank 3 if you're on the elite division. And then you have, for example, the really top players who then get the rank 1 and 2. So I guarantee you most people in the elite division can't even get rank 3. That's like the really creme de la creme, the high skill rating. Most people just edge into the elite division. They can maybe get enough to where they can get like, you know, rank 4 if they have a really good run. So I would say use the weekend league as if you can play every I would say 5 games Friday, no, so 7 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or 6, the last extra game, whatever. See what you can get, and that would be a good indication. So what is the best way of moving up division rivals? Now, what I would always say is, if you watch my videos, I would say don't do what I do. I know I have all these alternate different alts, but that is because I need an account in every single division so I can understand what's going on. So I can play Division 10 and I can be like, how different is that from Division? So like, for example, right now I'm doing my FIFA School Series, Division 10 to Elite Division. You can actually see my FIFA School Series, patreon.com/nilguides, links down below in the description, where I show you every single game from the Division 10 to Elite Division, okay? But I'm starting it this year in Division 8. It's because I realized that there's no reason for me to have start in Division 10 because those players are very similar. Now, when you go up in ranks, you have to be very careful. You don't want to go too high because if you know you're a Division 5 player, if you go to Division 3, you are going to really struggle. And this is where the basics get thrown out the window because you're versing someone, even if you play the basics and you do it well, you're versing someone. So imagine if you're versing a pro player right now. It doesn't matter if you do everything correctly, you're still going to get beaten because that player is a pro player and it's going to win every single time. So what you have is a lot of players who get stuck. So what I would say is, if you want to practice in rivals. I would strongly recommend, for example, when you reach, for example, a milestone, play that game very seriously and then just get the draw. Don't get the win. Because if you get the win, you're just going to keep going up. And as I said, if you're just messing around, trying things out, because of pure statistics, you're going to make your way forward. Now, eventually, there's going to be a lot of casual players who are actually elite division players and Division 1 players. They don't play the game that much, but when you play them, they're going to smack you out of the water. And that is why people go on these 6-0 loss streaks and stuff like that. It's not because they're versing someone who's better than them and that's it. It's because they verse one player, they do the basics correctly, they get blown out the water because they're such a high, he or she's high skill level, and you're not, for example. And then when you play them, you end up saying, what's going on here? Then you play the next 6 games and you get frustrated. You start spamming mechanics, you start doing abusing skills inside the box, etc, etc. So what I would say is just use this to test, play your division, get your rivals, but don't just be like, oh, look, I need to get to elite division. Because people say to me, hey, Neil, I want to get to elite division. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But if you're struggling in Division 5, what are you going to do when you get to elite division? So understand that elite division, yeah, the rewards are a little bit better, but they're not amazing. It's only in the elite division. Division 1, not so much. Throat's still recovering from yesterday. By the way, Happy New Year for those that are watching. Hope you all had a wonderful start to your new year and had a wonderful evening last night. But that is what I would say in terms of division rivals. So I would say, contrary to belief, use it as a way to practice and then leave the weekend league in the playoffs. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be like, no, I can't play all my games. That's fine. If you can play only 10 games, then try to get 10-0. So you can still improve by playing weekend league. So even playoffs, okay? If you're a Division 5 player, maybe you'll get 6 wins, 4 losses maybe. It depends. But maybe just instead of going 6-4, try to go 6-1. So if you can't play that many games because you don't have time in the weekend league, and that I understand, then you can do it like that. Now, I would say a good place to stay in division rivals depends on your skill level. I would say, as I said, rank 3 should be Division 3 in theory. So if you're getting rank 5 in a weekend league, you should be realistically in Division 3. That would be a good middle point, I would say, just a general rule of thumb. But that's what I'll say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a quick bit of information about rivals and weekend league. Thanks for watching. Of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.